Hello all, I hope you're well and welcome back to another weekly live here in the Facebook community. I'd love for you to jump on and say hi and where you're from and what brings you to this live, whether you're watching the live or replay. Let's connect, let's deepen our relationship, let's get that love and connection that we all crave and deserve. So let me know what brings you here, what you're doing today. Just let me know whatever you want to let me know. Whatever comes to mind, whatever you feel called to share. Maybe mention a celebration or a win that you've had recently, right? Let's focus on what's going positive in your life right now. Can you tell me something that's going positive in your life? And just want to say we've got lots of new members here in the Facebook community. So for those of you that are new here, my name is Zoe Jing and I'm an anxiety coach and an NLP practitioner, helping women to heal their anxiety from all over the world, focusing on the Rewrite Your Anxiety method, which gives you everything you need to heal your anxiety. It helps you to master your mindset, build a deep connection with your body, regulate your nervous system, and build sustainable habits. And this method is broken down into different sections. Like one of the sections is mindset, and this section's really important because our subconscious mind controls 95% of our life. So whatever beliefs and programs that are in our subconscious mind, that's going to affect how we show up and what we do and what we believe in and what we're able to see and what we're not able to see, right? Because our brain can only take in a certain amount of information. So it can only take in information that aligns with its current beliefs. So if you have a belief, of example, that you're dumb, your subconscious mind's only going to be able to see the things around you and what you're doing that proves that you're dumb. It's not going to see any hope or any possibility or any good things that you're doing. So our subconscious mind's really, really powerful. So if you're feeling held back in life by overthinking, by anxiety, by panic, by limiting beliefs, for example, like being dumb, like I just said, or being ugly, or not being good enough or being fat, because they're all ones that I had, that's going to affect your life and affect how you show up and what you're able to create unless you rewire those programs. So that is so important to do so. And a lot of anxiety starts by poor beliefs that we have, poor limiting beliefs that we have. Like, as I said, being ugly, dumb, worthless. Like if you have those beliefs about yourself, then of course that's going to lead to anxiety because you're not feeling safe, you're not feeling good enough, you're not feeling wanted. So of course that's going to create anxiety feelings and sensations in your body and mind. And that's going to cause a lack of safety as well. And as well as you've got, if you've got a lot of fear, if something's going wrong, if you've been hurt, if you've got a lot of sadness, that's also going to create anxiety. So this is where the subconscious mind really comes in by rewiring those programs and rewiring what happened in past events that made you feel a certain way. And then there's body connection, right? Because a lot of the times we are anxious without even knowing we're anxious. We're stressed without even knowing we're stressed. We don't even know what our thoughts are, what our feelings are, and what's going on until it's too late and it started small and blown out of proportion and just become, really big and massive, right? So building a deep connection with your body actually helps you learn to pick up on those signs and signals in the early stages so you're able to regulate your emotions, regulate what's going on in your body and mind, and bring yourself back to a place of peace, calm and happiness before it gets out of control. But you're not going to be able to do that unless you have a deep connection with your body. So that's why body connection is really important. It's also really important for overall health and wellness, of course, and knowing what feels good for you so you're able to sustain it and be well. And also, if you want to connect with other people on a deep level, you first need to be able to connect with yourself. So body connection is also important in that way. And then there's nervous system regulation, right? We want to regulate your nervous system and then widen that window of tolerance. Because if you live in excess periods of stress, anxiety, fear, or the opposite, depression, and wanting to be dead or whatever it is, you're on the opposite ends. So the window of tolerance is in the middle. You've got hyper arousal, which is up here. That's like the stress and anxiety state. And then below that, you've got the depressive state. And window of tolerance is in the middle. So quite often we'll stay up here or we'll stay down here or we'll go between the two, just skipping the window of tolerance. But And the longer period of time you spend in, you know, the stress response or in the depression response, the smaller your window of tolerance gets. So that means the less amount of things you'll be able to handle. So that means if your window of tolerance is small, the slightest sin will send you off the rails, and the slightest sin will become the biggest sin, when it could have been really small, but it became massive because your window of tolerance is so small. So it's important to regulate your nervous system and then work on widening that, because the wider it is, the more likely you're going to be able to stay within that window of tolerance without going back and forth, and the more healthy you'll be able to be, and the less thins will make you just get dysregulated. If you do become dysregulated, you have the tools to bring yourself back into the window of tolerance. And then there's also habit work as well, right? Because everything we do is based off our current habits. So it's about recognizing what all your habits are, which habits of yours are serving you, and which habits of yours aren't serving you, and why you're doing them, and how you can get that same benefit from a new positive habit, and rewiring what's causing you to do that habit. So yeah, that's a little bit about the rewrite anxiety method. If you'd like to learn more about how that could benefit you, then comment method below. And I also just want to express how good it is to be in the position where I am now. Like when I was chronically anxious, happiness, inner peace, calmness, all the positive emotions were nowhere to be found. But definitely what I struggled with the most was happiness. But to now be at the point where I can feel happiness no matter what is going on externally, right? You know, something can go wrong in my business, something can go wrong with my family, something can go wrong around the house, or in my relationships, or with my friends, or with my family, but I'm still able to feel happy because I've created that happiness internally rather than needing it externally by other people, from other people, or from things going well in my business, or from someone giving me a compliment. I don't need any of that to be happy anymore. Like, that contributes to my happiness, of course. That's natural for it to contribute to our happiness when things go well externally. But you need to be able to create that happiness internally and be happy within yourself. So therefore you can keep going no matter what comes your way, because the only person we can control is ourselves. So if you want to heal your anxiety, if you want to be overall happy and well and not be constant up and down and be relying on other people, then you need to learn how to create that happiness within. And like, it's just crazy. Like, I can get, like, stuff can trigger me, right, if something doesn't go well externally, but I always come back to my being, to who I am, to everything that I have to be happy for, and like just me as a person, and how I can have that happiness within and be happy with myself without needing it from other people. So that's a really important tool for you to have. And if it's something you struggle with, definitely let me know. Comment struggle below, because I do actually have, a while ago, I did a little bit of a training on creating happiness within, which is something that could be really beneficial for you to give a go. Of course, with happiness, you know, it takes time. You're not just going to do that one training and be good, be happy 24/7. Like, it takes constant, you have to practice it over and over again, because it's like a muscle, right? The more you work out your bicep at the gym, the stronger it gets. The more you work on feeling happiness, the stronger that gets. But there can obviously also be stuff holding you back from feeling happy. Like, for example, say you had the belief of, I don't deserve to be happy. You could do that training 50 million times and it wouldn't change anything, because you've got that belief that you don't deserve to be happy. So that's where you would need subconscious mind reprogramming, which is part of the rewrite your anxiety method. To actually be able to feel that happiness, you have to remove that belief through subconscious mind reprogramming first. So yeah, just let me know if that interests you. And anyway, let's finally get in today's live. So today's live is about above the line thinking and below the line thinking. And I'd love for you to let me know in the comments if you've heard of this before. Heard of above the line and below the line thinking. And even if you haven't, or you sort of have, let me know what you think it means. When you hear that, what do you think it means? So essentially, above the line thinking is where we want to be. This is where we're able to experience positive emotions. This is where we're taking responsibility for our lives. This is where we're taking action. This is where we're creating goals. This is where we take responsibility, and we know that everything happens for a reason, and we work on how we can improve. You know, we look at what possible things we've done that aren't the greatest and what we can learn from that and how we can prevent ourselves from doing that again. And just being like a human being that's, you know, reasonable and understands their place in the world and their part of things without, you know, not taking responsibility and essentially blaming other people. So that's above the line. And below the line, right, is when you're playing the victim. You think that everything always goes wrong, everything bad happens to you, that you don't have any control of it, you know, that you're not able to do X, Y, Z because of what someone else did or what someone else said, or, you know, nothing works for you. You're like, you might say, I'm doing all the things, but nothing works, but you're not really doing anything, or you're trying to do things, but you don't have the right mindset about it. You know, you're not taking action, you're not changing your thoughts. You know, your behaviors and actions and thoughts don't align with what you're saying you want or what you're saying you're doing. So yeah, that's a bit about what that means. So basically, living above the line means that you're going to get results, and living below the line means you're going to find out a reason. You can come up with the reasons and excuses to why things don't happen. And there's another way of wording this, right? You can also call above the line thinking living at cause, and you can also call below the line thinking in living in effect. And that's how I first kind of heard it, but I also like the above the line and below the line. And it's also really important to realize that we all have different areas in our life, right? So some areas we might be living above the line in, and some areas of our life we might be living below the line, or we might be all above or all below. But again, like, you can't change something unless you're aware of it. So this is where awareness is really gonna come in handy for you. So I'm going to mention a few different areas, and I want you to take the time to kind of write these down and explore whether you're living above the line in them or whether you're living below the line in them. So in your relationships, are you living above the line or below the line? In your spiritual health, spiritually, like what you believe in, your faiths, whether you believe in God, the universe, whatever it is, are you living above the line or below the line? And what about in your friendships? Are you living above the line or below the line? And what about in your work environment? Are you living above the line or below the line? And what about your health? Above the line or below the line? And then what about your mental health? Above the line or below the line? An example for living above the line with your mental health would be actually taking the time to invest in yourself and commit to putting yourself first and doing what it takes to get support on your healing journey, whether that's starting small with one of my small options that I've got, or whether that's going all in and going for the 12-week program to heal your anxiety. So that would be an example of living above the line. An example of living below the line would be that you just say that you can't do it because you don't have enough time, you don't have enough money, you're too broken, or it's not going to work, or whatever it is. And then what about in love? Are you living above the line or below the line? And what about in fitness? Are you living above the line or below the line? And what about in your personal development, in like your willingness to grow and learn and follow your dream career, or increase, or like get high up in your current career? Are you living above the line or below the line? Let me know. And you know, when we choose to live above the line, that's amazing, because it means you're taking 100% responsibility for your life. And it is simple. It's quite simple. You just have to get into that belief. And once you get into that belief, it's quite simple, but it's very, very powerful. And it's what's needed to create our dream life and to be successful. And maybe you're thinking, you know, living above the line isn't possible because we can't control everything that happens to us. 100%, we can't control everything what happens to us, but we can control what we do about the information. We can control what we take it, how we take it on to mean, how we take something on to mean, what we do with that information if we let it go and move forward, or if we stay fixated on it, and if we make it dictate our future. So yes, we can't control what happens to us externally, but we can control what meaning we make on what happens and what we do next, and whether we let go of it. So remember that, even write that down. I might not be able to control what happens to me externally, but I can control what I do with that information, and if I make meaning on it or if I let it go. And I choose to let it go. I invite you to write that down. And when it comes to starting to live above the line instead of below the line, what beliefs do you think will serve you best to get you from living below the line to above the line? And based on those beliefs that you wrote, what actions and behaviors can you start taking that will help you believe those beliefs more and start showing up as if you already believe them? And I also just want you to reflect, in general, what do you currently feel you're not taking responsibility for? And what do you currently feel you are taking responsibility for? And how can you start taking more responsibility for things that you're not currently taking responsibility for? Okay, to wrap up this training, I just want you to remember that you want to live above the line, which means taking responsibility for everything in your life and growing and learning and moving forward and being able to let things go, rather than living below the line where you think everything happens to you, you can't control it, you're just going to be stuck, you have to wait for someone else. And it's important to focus on what areas in your life you're living above the line in and what areas you're living below the line, as well as taking note of, in general, where you're taking responsibility in life and where you're not, and how you can start taking more responsibility for those things that you're not taking responsibility for. And I'd love for you to let me know if you have any questions on that and if you'd like some more support. And don't forget, if happiness is something you'll struggle with, definitely let me know and I can send you the replay of that happiness training that I did in meditation. And we can also work out if there's something deeper that's preventing you from being happy, such as having the belief that I don't deserve to be happy. But yeah, if you want to take that a little bit further and learn more, definitely comment below struggle, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you all for joining, and bye for now.